Do you see that as a major responsibility of yours? I'm sorry?
We're supposed to be fishers of men.
Of course,
We're
yes.
supposed to go out and spread the word, so that's what our purpose is. We were not saved to sit down and read keyboards. We were saved to be workers in the kingdom. In order to reach the people in the world, those that are not saved, and even those who don't know about Christ. Excuse me. You got to go out. You got to take the word out and try to reach them. Everybody's not going to be saved, but it's not up to us. You know, all we're supposed to do is spread the word, and God will do the draw. But if we come to church and sit and do absolutely nothing, that's what we'll get on judgment day. Absolutely nothing.
I'm going to say, but do we do that? Do we spread the word?
You do in different ways, and I think sometimes we get caught or stuck on, I just tell everybody that Christ, and you almost bombard people with God.
Right.
But you can, your son, different times he's gone into the hospital. Excuse me. And you know it had to be God that brought him under. When you talk to somebody else who's got somebody else in their family who has diabetes or somebody else who's been sick, you're witnessing. You're telling about the goodness of the Lord. And maybe by you telling them, that will cause them to draw, that will draw them. Some people say, well, she talking about what God can do this for her, for them, then he can do it for me. And then you show people as well. But if you don't go out and we treat everybody like they got the disease, God help us.
And sometimes it's not that you have to say, you don't have to, it's the way we introduce, or the way that we carry, it's the message that we portray.
Yeah.
You can show the love of God, and you don't have to say God. You see what I'm saying? And so sometimes it's just by showing Jesus, showing love, you draw. And sometimes it's just by offering prayer, you draw. So everything is different. Some ways are different. It's sometimes by giving. That's still a witness.
Right.
And you draw. All of those are ways of fulfilling your purpose. In the Bible, they sewed quilts and gave quilts, and sewed clothes and gave clothes, and yet that was still a ministry, and yet, you see what I'm saying? They were fulfilling their purpose. Sometimes I feel like we make it harder than what it really is. And it's not that complicated to show love. And it's not that complicated to give. And it's not that complicated to show Christ to other people. Right? But when we keep to ourselves, or if we don't, we can use the word go. If we don't have we don't get up that day with anything in mind, any way to look for a way to show God to other people, or Christ in our life, show them Christ in our life, then we're not doing what we're supposed to do. And everything we do ought to say something. And we ought not do it for the purpose of getting something back. But it's the purpose that God done something for me. And since he done something for me, I got to do something for somebody else. And so sometimes, you take and you do things just because. I haven't came from all different walks of life, but yet my heart goes out to people when I see people hurting from various walks of life. Though I didn't experience those walks of life, it's just the fact that I'm not sure how they got to all those walks of life, but sometimes I know that something pushed them there. And without even knowing their story, it's just the fact that they're there and something pushed them there that makes me want to reach out to them. And I heard from are people I don't even know. Just because I know something put them there. And I tell people, I say, I don't know what it is about remembering things in my childhood. I can remember this girl living by the railroad track. I can remember her having not a whole lot of nothing. Her clothes didn't look like a lot of nothing, but that's who I wanted to go down there and see, and that's who I wanted to be with, even though she didn't have a lot of anything. It's because she was always by herself, and I felt like she had nobody. Nobody seemed to migrate to her. She didn't have anybody to talk to. You see what I'm saying? And so then therefore that's who I wanted to go see. I remember stuff like that. See where she lived, I can still remember all that. Where she lived, everything. I remember all that. Because there was a need there. And so I'm saying, we search, and you know, I think when we get these things in our spirit as Christ intended for us to have them in our spirit, I don't think we'll have to search hard for those things. I think those things will jump out at us. And I think you will, it'll be like a magnet drawn. I mean, it'll be like we'll be drawn to that immediately. You'll be drawn to the need. Because it's going to stand out to you. I think it'll come that simple, that easy. Now that's my opinion. And it's not hard to do. Because you're drawn to that. When we get this, if we have this in our spirit the way that it's intended to be. Yes.
Let me say this. It's getting stronger.
Okay.
It's like it continues to grow and get bigger and bigger. I'm doing more things now than I've ever done when it comes to serving God. I'm talking to him on a particular basis where before it was like, I need this, God, I need that. Now it's not what I need, but you say you're going to provide my needs. So how can I help somebody else? Because that's what you told me to do. Don't worry about my needs. You're taking care of it. And when you don't have to worry about yourself no more, then you really look at others. I know this person. I remember I used to be down there, but I ain't there no more. How can I bring him up? Give me patience to deal with some of these things, God, because that's what I'm lacking.
Oh, I think anything would make you, I think sometimes the devil would really want us to lose sight of things when we're working with people, and I think sometimes you really have to talk to yourself in situations and bring your mind back. Right? Especially when they start acting idle. Because they're human and they're in situations. And sometimes they can tend to get a little irate and a little out there. But see, remember, they're the people that need the ministering too. We're supposed to already be here. We're already supposed to be to this position to where we're supposed to be able to help somebody else. Now, right? Okay, so yes, Ella Jones. So if we're already supposed to be to this place, then what we have to learn to do is talk to ourselves at that point, and sometimes almost excuse yourself for a minute to pull yourself back together and to come back. Because again, like he said earlier, the devil really wants us to lose sight of because of the mission that we have. And the purpose. Yes, sir.
So, my question is this. I know that early in my walk, when somebody came and asked me what was my purpose or what was my calling or whatever, it made me nervous. It made me, I didn't know, right? And so when you can't pinpoint that, what that is, it gets you off your game, right? So what I heard from a wise person And what they told me to do was start walking and doing what God told you to do, and there